Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Andrew Study Jam. That's Andrew Study Jam, the first session today. I hope you guys can hear me. So today's session is just about we're introducing the Android Study Jam, and having some code labs on Kotlin. So if you be joining in, I will advise you to join in, like you participate in the coding session by just get your system ready and follow along as the facilitator instruct us to do. So we'll be waiting for just 5 minutes more for more people to join in before we start. And by the way, this session is recorded, so just for you guys to know, because we respect everybody's privacy, and we just want to let you know that this call is recorded. All right, so we'll just wait a little bit more for more people to join in, and I'm really glad we're having this session. So while we wait, I just want us to enjoy the music. I hope you can hear the music. If you can hear the music, let me know in the chat section. Should I increase the volume? Okay, we'll just wait a little more. We'll wait 10 minutes more, then we're going to start.
Hello, welcome everyone to the Android Study Jams organized by the Developer Students Club in Lagos State University. I'm Animasha Olamilese, the anchor for today's event, and I'm super excited to have you present. Excited about the conversations we get to have today. Now, before we begin, let me remind you of one thing. We'll be recording today's session. This is for you who might miss an important detail during the session, or you who wants to recommend to a friend not present at this time. You can do so by checking out the YouTube channel through the link that will be provided shortly after the teaching on the community WhatsApp group page. Android Study Jams are community organized study groups for people to learn how to build Android apps in Kotlin programming language using the curriculum provided by Google. The objective is to support as many interested members as possible in completing the course, thereby raising the technical proficiency of the community members. Teaching us today is Prosper, a creative engineer that is exceptionally passionate about building products and experiences that provides value to people and businesses in Africa. He's an Android engineer with experience in building robust applications that follows the recommended architectural pattern. He serves as an Android tutor at the DSC LASU, and it's a thrill to have him at the teaching at this Android study jams. Let's welcome Prosper Ekwerike to continue with the session. Over to you, Prosper.
Alright, thank you. I know a lot of people here, but okay, yes, my name is Prosper, and I would like to define myself as a creative engineer. So today I'm going to be serving as the tutor for this session. Well, I also serve at DSC LASU as an Android tutor. I know a lot of people are already familiar with that. And well, before I get started today, I just want to share a quick story with you guys. So, a story about my journey so far, so you guys know where I'm coming from and why I feel so grateful and happy to be in front of you guys today. So, about 5 years ago, I came across computer programming, and since then, I got my hands into a lot of things and I failed at a lot of things. So one of my big failures was with web development. So initially, when I started my journey, I struggled a lot with web development. I struggled with learning JavaScript. Like at that point, everything was like magic to me. It was as if I was dumb. I felt like, okay, Prosper, you're not good enough for this. I felt as if I was not intelligent enough for it. And I failed. Obviously, I failed at web development. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat things. And the major reason why I failed, I didn't fail because it was hard for me. I didn't fail because I couldn't understand certain things that was going on. I failed because I decided to give up. So I told myself, that, okay, I'm never going to go back to this. And that's why I failed. Now, when I reflect back at that experience and also at other instances in my life whereby obviously I failed because I gave up, I found out that the major takeaway there was that I was not really consistent, whether it's web development or with anything that I failed. And the truth is that to get to the top of anything, and this inclusive of Android or whatever aspect of programming, you need to be consistent. Now, the guys that you look up to and you're like, okay, this guy is really amazing, he's a genius. Like the truth is that I really don't believe in geniuses. Anyone that is on the top of his game that is like a shining star out there, they got there because they were consistent enough. So every single day they showed up and they put in work. And so what I mean is that you can be as amazing as you want. You too, you can get to any point or position you want. And so I yes, I love people. I really don't like people to idolize me first because, well, I'm not really at where I want to be. And obviously, I really believe that people can actually even do way more than I have done. And so, what I'm trying to say is that as you're starting this journey today, what's going to matter is not this first study jam, it's not this first lecture. What's going to matter is the consistent effort you put every single day after this call, after our next call. That is really going to matter. And so no matter how much time we are going to use for the study jams, I cannot lie to you that you're going to become an expert in Android engineering after 3 weeks. But I can tell you for sure that if you continue putting effort, if you continue learning, obviously you're going to get to that point, and you're also going to be able to build very amazing stuff. Now, the second lesson I'll talk about before I get started is a quote that I came across in one of, I think, like 3 years back, and it's really influenced my journey so far. And it says, growth and comfort never lies in the same place. And now what I mean is that whenever you're comfortable, whenever you're in a place of comfort, is a clear sign that you're not growing. And whenever you're uncomfortable, whenever you feel tired, whenever it's as if you should give up, that is one of the brightest signs that a huge growth is about to occur. That is one of the brightest signs that you're growing. And so as you begin this journey, there's going to be days whereby you keep on battling bugs and you just can't explain why. There's going to be days whereby you want to learn about a certain concept and it's not entering, and you'll be like, oh, this guy that knows it, like, man, this guy was really intelligent. Or you just feel like, okay, I can't do it because you're uncomfortable at that point. Now, I want you to keep in mind that when you reach those moments, days whereby your apps keeps crashing and you can't even tell why, whereby your code doesn't want to run, your virtual emulator has disappeared, those moments are moments that are going to define your growth. Those moments are moments that is going to take you to the next level. And so you should really be happy in face of difficulties, and you should feel very happy when you're uncomfortable, because like I said, it's a clear sign that you're about to grow, and you should go out there and seek being uncomfortable. And obviously, like you always hear, when you do the difficult things, life becomes easy. And the truth is that it's not just your own life, but the lives of other people becomes easy, because when you do the things that are daring, when you venture into paths that everyone is afraid of, when you do things that are uncomfortable, you make the life of other people easy. You provide value to other people. And if you can make other people's life easy, your life will also become easy. And so that's by the way. So let's get started. Two main takeaways. You have to be consistent with this journey. And during the days whereby things are getting difficult, you have to be happy, because that is the clearest sign that you're about to grow. And I'm going to share my screen now. And so I just want to go through the whole material. So in this next session, what I want to accomplish with this is that I want us to get familiar with the structure of the whole study jam. So the whole idea of the Android Study Jam is to promote self-paced learning and peer-to-peer learning. And so it's not like your conventional method of learning whereby maybe I'm your teacher and every single day we'll have to meet like every day and I'll tell you, type this, don't type that, no. So the curriculum and everything has already been provided by Google, and the whole program is divided into 2 tracks. So there's a track for those that are completely new to programming, and as you can see on the screen, there's also a track for those that have prior experience. And now the track for those that are completely new to programming. So maybe if you know anyone that has an interest in programming, like, but don't have any experience and is looking for a way to get started, like, this is a perfect place to get started. And I'm saying this because I've gone through the resources myself, and it was just so sweet and so easy. And so you probably check it out. Why for the prior experience with programming is for people that already have experience writing codes, but you're new to Android development and you're new to Kotlin. So they are going, like, the whole material is going to give you a brief run through of Kotlin and how it relates to Android development. But the prior experience with programming, the pace is kind of pretty fast compared to the new to programming. Like the basic prerequisites for the whole program, I think like every single one in here is able to take the program. And so today I want us to touch 2 tracks. So for the new to programming track, I want us to write our first Kotlin program. And then with prior to programming experience, I want us to build our first Android app. So it's not going to be anything really huge. It's just going to be it's going to be something very simple. And so I've been going through the materials for quite a time, and this is the material for the new to programming track. And so you shouldn't like put any pressure on yourself. I think, okay, I'm going to copy the link to this material and I'll drop it on the chat. But if you're not with your computer system, you're not mixing anything, because it's actually going to be pretty fast. So I'm going to actually be very fast. But if you're at your computer system and you want to check out the material, the link is there. But the link is still, like, for those that are really interested in becoming Android developers with Kotlin, we are going to add you to the DSC LASU Kotlin group, and we'll share a lot of things there. So I'm going to also share the link to the material there. So, like always, the normal ritual and initiation for developers, you write your first Hello World program. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do now. So, okay. Can you guys see my ID?
No, Prosper, we can't see your ID.
Oh, okay. All right, so let me share my ID screen with you guys. Okay, so I'm going to write out. You can see it right now.
No. Okay, yeah, we can.
All right, so this IntelliJ IDEA, it's like the best IDE for writing Kotlin codes and also Java. So like I said, you shouldn't put any pressure on yourself. Maybe start trying to run around for the IntelliJ IDEA. Like, the steps to install IntelliJ IDEA on your computer system is in the study jam materials. And if you go through the materials, while you're writing your first Kotlin code, you're obviously going to install IntelliJ IDEA or Android Studio. And so what I want to accomplish with this is that, first, I just want to show the syntax, and let's just say for official purposes, like, okay, yes, we wrote some code for it. So, well, I really can't even explain what's going on, but like this is just like the syntax. So maybe for those that have done C++, this is like the int mini void, and so we just print hello DSC LASU Android Jam. And yes, that's it. So I think, like, for those that already have prior experience with programming, you find out that, okay, yes, this is actually beautiful syntax. Like, no need for semicolons that will make your code crash and all that. And the truth is that Kotlin is pretty concise, and it really makes Android development fun. So we just run our main.kt file, and we'll probably see hello world. So really, that's just it for writing your first Kotlin program. I know that, yes, this is not really compressive. We could actually still do a lot of other things, like maybe using if-else's or control flow statement. Like, there's a bunch of other things we can do. But like I said, the essence of this is not to make you become a master of Kotlin in less than 5 minutes. I feel it's going to be hypocritical of us to do that. We are just doing this like, this is your first Kotlin program. So it's official now that you saw your first Kotlin program from DSC LASU Android Study Jam. So, okay, let me go back to share my screen. So I want everything to actually go really fast. And, okay, so it's actually the same thing we actually did, like we replicated this code lab. So for those that are going to start with the new to programming track, you're actually going to get here, and you're going to see this. Now, I know that for some of us, especially those that are very new, the code labs, like the whole material might seem very novel, but the truth is that the Android code labs are one of the best materials out there. So I want to share a quick story with you guys. When I first got started with Android development, I took a course on Audacity, and it was a video-based course. So at that moment, like, I wasn't really feeling the course, because You know, the whole idea of video pay, video-based course, like you're trying to literally compete with the instructor. Like, okay, who's going to be the first to replicate what he's doing? And at the end of the day, you find out that okay, yes, you replicated everything the instructor did, but if you're very honest with yourself, do you really understand what you did? So you find out that okay, along the line, you need some crucial details about the whole process. Video-based course, it's good for people that are at an intermediate level, but I really don't recommend it for the whole concept at your own pace. And this is the opportunity that this code labs is giving you. So for instance, now in a day you can decide, okay, we have 6 steps here. Really, it's only, let's say, 2 main steps. Run your first program in Kotlin and modify your program. So unlike video-based course whereby you have to start competing with your instructor, typing every single thing you type, but now you can actually read this line by line, step by step, and just digest material at your own pace. And like I said, people is trying to promote self-paced learning with all these. So no one is rushing you that please go to the next video or reward this video. I really don't have time. You just have all the time in the world to go through these materials at your own pace, and really that is really amazing. And aside that, the study jam materials also integrated videos. So for some of you that might feel that okay, reading is actually boring. Yes, reading is boring, especially for those that are reading PDFs. Yes, reading is boring. But the code labs is nothing compared to your PDF, so you wouldn't find it boring. But Google also integrated video-based materials. So yeah, they just like combine 2 words together. So the whole idea of video-based learning, is, the practical code labs to give you like probably the best experience you'll find out here. And so, like I said, I'm going to drop the link to this material um, on the WhatsApp group chat. So this is the new to programming track. So this is it. Android basics with Kotlin. So let me just keep going back. Okay. Uh, okay, so this is the new to programming track. The materials is there. I think if for us we give me the permission, maybe later on I will share um, this presentation to the group. So really, this is all what you're going to cover in the new to programming track. So like in less than a week or some days, you're going to get started with Kotlin. Now no one wants you to become an expert at Kotlin, so that's not the idea. We just want you, and from the way the material is structured, it wants you to like learn enough Kotlin that you would need to start building apps. So you're just going to learn the basics, how to write Kotlin functions, probably how to declare classes in Kotlin, just the basics of object-oriented programming. And after you learn the basics, you go ahead to start building Android apps. So the idea is that while you're building Android apps, you're going to write more Kotlin, and along the line, obviously, your knowledge of the language is going to deepen. And really, that is the whole idea that you're trying to promote. So this week, you're expected to walk through at your own pace, like I say, but like this is just how the curriculum is structured. And if you look at the Android basics in Kotlin, so these are the materials. There ought to be 6 units, but we just have 2 here. So for those of you that have decided to take the new to programming track, you just come here, click on unit 1. After you're done with all the whole tracks in unit 1, you go to unit 2 and you keep on learning. Now, if you probably finish the new to programming track before the study jam ends, you can jump over to the prior experience with programming. Both tracks really share the same content, and so you shouldn't think that okay, you're going to miss a lot. The only difference is that for the new to programming, a lot of attention is paid on getting you started with Kotlin like a baby. But for the prior experience, like they just speed things up. Okay, so for the prior experience to programming, it's actually more like it's divided into two, not really two parts. So this Kotlin con, the idea is that um, the the program wants to test your knowledge of like how well you know Kotlin. So it just like give you a warm up, and that's just it. So it's just a warm up of the Kotlin syntax, and it also makes you familiar with the Kotlin syntax and all that. So for those that already have experience, so it's more like it's fast paced, obviously. And then you take the Android Kotlin fundamentals course. Um, like I said earlier, more instructions will actually come for those that are very interested in taking this. But everything here is just placed well, and you could just go through it. So obviously you have to start from unit one and all that. I don't think I have to be saying this. Now, as you learn, as you complete each unit, so you earn badges, and at the end of the day, you have to meet a required number of badges, I think, before you receive a certificate. So after you receive, you get a required number of badges, you then get awarded a certificate that you completed the Android Study Jam program organized by developers in conjunction with developers training. So beauty of course that and there's a lot of instructions that's going to come on installing Android Studio and all that. And I really want us to actually look through this because it's very important. So it's very important. So the truth is that Kotlin is an amazing language. With Kotlin, you can do Android development. You could also create desktop applications. And probably in the nearest future, with Kotlin multi-platform, you'll be able to create iOS interfaces. But I don't want you guys to bank on that. But with Kotlin multi-platform now, you can create apps that shares business logic, so cross-platform applications that shares business logic. So, but you have to replicate the user interface with Swift UI and all that. But now when you talk about Kotlin with okay, and you could also use Kotlin to build back end, so server side, and also use it to the front end. Like a lot of amazing work is actually going on right now in terms of Kotlin, and JetBrains and Google are the ones building the whole app and all that. But in terms of using Kotlin for Android development, it's to be honest, it's resource intensive. So, and that's not because of Kotlin, but that's because of an application called Android Studio. Like Android Studio is like the nightmare of many developers. So the truth is that your system has to meet like a certain threshold for you to be able to have the best experience with Android Studio. And this is actually a system requirement. So if let's look at Windows. So the idea is okay, you need to have at least 4 gig RAM minimum, but 8 gig is recommended. Now, I'm going to speak out of my own experience because I think this is not really explanatory. Now, if your system is running on 4 gig RAM, you can work with Android Studio, you can install Android Studio, but you should be prepared to encounter a lot of funny behaviors. Like the app can hang for some minutes, it might, there's just a lot of things, but you wouldn't have the best experience. And like that's why I said the recommended is 8 gig RAM. So if your system runs on 8 gig RAM, like it's going to be able to run Android Studio smoothly. The screen resolution, obviously your system has to run on a Windows of 64-bit. The screen resolution, I really can't say much about that, but we have to believe that this is true. Then another thing would be the processor. So I think the processor was not specified here. Now, for those of you that use Intel processor, I really advise that your system is running on a Core i5 processor or higher, because if your system is running on a Celeron processor or on a Pentium processor, then obviously you're going to have the best experience because Android Studio is really intensive. Now you just have to make the decision on your own. Maybe for some of you that maybe your system don't meet this requirement and you're really passionate about learning Android development, then you can continue, but you should just keep in mind that, okay, in the nearest future, you have to start making plans on doing like getting a system that can match up with Android Studio's power. Yeah, so that's, but for some of you that, okay, maybe even in the nearest future, you're not thinking of getting a new system anytime soon. And if your system doesn't meet the system requirements, to be honest with you, I wouldn't advise you to get started with this, because along the line, obviously, you're going to probably get frustrated and you're going to drop it. And the whole idea I'm trying to preach is I want you to be consistent. And I think that's going to contradict the whole idea of consistency. So this material is going to be dropped, and you can check it out if your system is a system requirement, and then you just install Android Studio. It's very easy to install, and then you just kick off your journey to the next code labs. But so what I want us to do now is, okay, build your first Android app. Now, another thing I want to tell you guys is that I don't want you to be in a haste to skip any code labs. So, except maybe if you already consider yourself an expert at this, because I've gone through the code labs and the materials, and one thing I was able to pick out is that every single code labs in the series builds on an assumption that you already know, or you're already familiar with the previous code labs. And so, like, okay, let me just do this Android development. Okay, like, and so maybe when you start taking these code labs, because this code labs is part of the study jam, and okay, so you look at what does this course cover, and maybe you're in your pathway, your first pathway, build your first app, and then build an interactive app. Maybe you have an idea in your head and it has to do with something with the internet, and now you're saying, okay, should I jump to connecting the internet pathway? The truth is that it's when you get here, obviously you're going to find it very difficult. So in as much as I advise that, okay, you have to pursue being uncomfortable, you have to do things that are hard and all that, but it really doesn't make sense for you to jump from here to here, because you don't want to be hard, like facing things that are difficult when you're the architect of your own problem. So like this connecting to the internet code labs assumes that you understand databases and recyclers, you know about the architecture components and other things that have been covered in previous code labs. And so the whole advice here is that go through the code labs sequentially, because it's very important in order for you not to get lost, or in order for you not to fight battles that you could have just prevented. Okay, so like I want us to just build our first app now. So build our first app on Android Studio that's going to say hello world. And after that, I think that's going to be all for this session, and we close for Q&A. So let me stop share my screen now and share my Android Studio. Approached me, I think last week, that he was having issues with setting up his virtual emulator and all that. And after we had a conversation, we discovered that, okay, all those issues he faced was because he didn't have enough data. So you need to have enough data. I recommend that you should actually try using the night browsing plan. So whatever network you're using, if it has a night browsing plan that's cheaper, you could actually use it, because the Android Studio software is about 800 and something, 800 and something MB. But after you download the software, a lot of other packages, you still have to download a lot of other packages, and so it can be like it's so much. So you need to have a lot of data and obviously a strong internet connection. But the material is good enough, and it's going to take you guys through the whole step. So if you just follow the material religiously, you're going to get Android Studio working on your system. So we're going to build our first app. So it's like a very simple app. Let's say DSC LASU Android. So obviously your app is not going to have this kind of long name. Uh, I think this is the longest name ever, but your app is not going to have this kind of long name because of our study jam. So create our first app,
Prosper,
and yeah.
we can't see your
So we are
screen.
not really going to write any code, so you shouldn't obviously get yourself
Everything
worked
Prosper
up.
can
What we
hear
are going to
us.
do now is just to see the new app screen that was created.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, I think I will have to share. Okay.
We can't see your screen, Prosper. Hello?
Okay, I'm still here. I just wanted to share the new screen as
Okay, okay.
so Android is going to take some
All
time,
right.
but really, Android apps as yeah, it has a lot of. Well, I'm looking for the word to use, but the basic Android app comprises of the layout and the activity. Well, there's a lot of things here, and I'm trying to think about how I can summarize everything that is going on now, but I don't want to get anybody unnecessarily confused. But a basic Android app obviously going to comprise of an activity, a layout for that activity. So the layout is just like the UI. So this UI is going to have some hello world message or whatever I want to put on it. And it's also going to have some other files that Android Studio is going to generate for you. I really want to start showing you guys all these files, so like I'm not going to scare anyone. But the truth is that it's not something difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. It's actually something very simple and basic. And as time just goes on, you just get familiar with all this. So as time goes on, you get familiar with all this, and also like I don't know whether I should say this. Okay, so this is the hello world message that's going to pop up. So when we run this app, my virtual emulators are off. Let's hope that it comes on real quick. So like this is Kotlin. So you could build Android apps with Kotlin, Java. If you like to do the very hard things, you could also Android apps with C++. Like it's actually possible. And the truth is that these languages work together. And when you start building Android apps, you know how they work together. You could actually use multiple languages to build an Android app. So for those of you that already know Java, so really your Java also comes in here. I think maybe I'll show you guys an application that I did. I had some things with Java and also C++. Okay, let me share the screen. So it's like that's just to so you guys can know that okay, Kotlin is compatible with Java. Actually, Kotlin uses Java Virtual Machine, so it's a JVM language. And so, if you know Java too, you could write Kotlin and Java at the same time. So this was actually one project I was working on, and so you could see this is actually Java. So it's a custom view, and we had to do some things with Java and like Java and Kotlin works
We
well
can't see your screen, Prosper.
together.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. So let's go back. So now let me share my virtual device. I think I'll add that view. Um, yes. So after this, then we're like, okay, the app has not yet good. Not yet good. App has not yet good. Creating is still building. Okay, but I read already there now. My virtual device is already open. I don't know like without on the screen. There's actually something there, and I really don't want you guys to see that. but the virtual device is already open. Now, assuming that our app has finally built, then we're going to get a hello world message. Um, but before that, I think let me just summarize. So maybe while I'm summarizing in the next 2 minutes, then our app can finally come up to us. So, like I said, the whole idea of Study Jam is to promote and peer-to-peer learning. Now, peer-to-peer learning is very, very important because as when you actually see your friend doing something, it kind of has like this way to inspire you. When you see someone that is growing, so I believe people get more inspired when they see someone growing, someone that's going through a certain struggle, than maybe when you see somebody that's already an expert telling you, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did that. Like really, no one gets inspired by. Well, you can actually get inspired, but it's inspired when you see someone that okay, yesterday he didn't know this and today already know this. So that is this idea of peer-to-peer learning that you shouldn't be stingy with the whole learning process. You try as much as possible to talk about your experiences with your friends. You let them know what you're doing. You share your ideas with them, like, okay, I'm working on these. I learned about this yesterday and all that. Really just to take everyone along in the whole process and immerse everyone in the experience. Now, for my own experience, like really, it's kind of very difficult for you to just be a lone wolf learning on your own without anyone to talk to and all that, especially when you encounter maybe some bugs and all that. It can be very annoying that you just have to fight the battles on your own. And so peer-to-peer learning tries to um, let's say build on top of the layer Google has already built down with code labs. So it's building on an extra layer for you to capitalize on. And with DSC LASU, the community is ever ready. And I believe that is the whole essence of the community, to support us, share our ideas and the whole learning process with one another. Okay, so the hello world is ready. After I share the hello world screen, then I'm going to close this. Okay, so I'm just doing all this like for official purposes. Like, so we know that, okay, today we wrote our first Android app and we saw the Android app display hello world. And we also wrote our first Kotlin code. And so we are carrying both tracks along. So this is more like for official purposes. Now, okay, that's it. Now, even if you don't take anything away from this whole lecture or this whole talk, if you've decided to get started with Android development, I want you to be consistent with it. Consistency is key. I want you to believe in yourself. Now, I'm not going to try to be an inspiration or motivation to anyone. You have to find your own inspiration in yourself and believe in yourself, because that's really important. Now, I'm not going to lie that it's simple. It's not going to be simple, but it's actually easy to get to the top. Well, simple doesn't really mean it's easy. But like, you have to be consistent during days whereby you're feeling down. You have to believe in yourself. And when you look at other people that are really good at it, please don't tell yourself that you're dumb. Don't tell yourself that you're not intelligent. Now, I'm not really at the top of my game yet, but at this point, at this point where I am, I really don't see myself as someone intelligent. I even really think that maybe I'm below average intelligence. But what got me this far is just consistency. And like I said, from story I shared earlier, when I was not consistent with web development, obviously I failed at it, and it had nothing to do with how intelligent or not intelligent I was. It's simply consistency, and every single person that has gotten to the top at anything you're doing, they're consistent. The second thing is you need to teach yourself to become uncomfortable. So you need to be happy whenever you're becoming uncomfortable, because like I said, the whole learning process is going to be difficult, and something that is difficult is going to make you uncomfortable. That's the truth in black and white. But when you're uncomfortable, it's a clear sign that you're about to grow. So you need to be happy with that. Now, the whole materials we went through today, I'm going to drop it on our WhatsApp group. So you shouldn't put any pressure on yourself. You're going to receive it. And yeah, so that's all for me. Thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys. All right, so I'll stop sharing my screen.
Okay, thank you very much, Prosper. And it was really exciting. It's a it's a big introduction. So I don't know if you are still here. There are some, you can go to the chat section to see if you have any questions. And also if you have questions for Prosper, kindly just type it in the chat section. And okay. So I'm trying to I already shared the group link to the DSC LASU group chat. If you are not part of the group chat yet, you can join. Then also I shared the link to the Kotlin group chat. If you're not part of the group chat, you can join also. So I think that's going to be a wrap. But before we go, I'll just like us to I will say something concerning the whole Android study jam, and I'm coming no done, please. So this Android study jam is not like okay. I know some of us might be feeling like okay, we should learn everything today. It's not actually possible for us to learn everything on like within 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I won't lie to you. Programming is not easy. Yeah. I know some of us are programmers, but we just want to have a career shift to maybe coding. I know it's easy. So if anybody tell you that it is easy, that person is oh. Now how can I see um this is how we are going to that on the Kotlin chat. So we are going to follow this self-paced calendar community. To do that every Saturday. We're just going to get to learn things to be really fast. Like you learn from someone that is a guru in it. The person that you don't understand, you feel intimidated about me. I never say something like my own intimidation. I think I can bet you in space of 3 weeks, if you look back, you see growth is gradual, and if we can be consistent with the code lab is sorted out. Like I like mapped out good developers. You know that for a very good thing. So and I mentioned that there are two tracks: the new to be programming and the priority knowledge to programming. If you're not going to the next stage, if you don't just off, and there's a certificate to be issued out by the DSC, the DSC LASU, and the criteria for giving you certificates is we are going to check all the tracks. Did you do the, because I think every code labs have maybe or something in it. So I believe that when you take that, when you the code challenge and all those stuff, you're going to be good at it. So and there are also badges. As you progress to each stage, there are badges that you can Google Pro. I don't know if you have seen it. I have a bunch of badges, but I don't know the importance yet. But I feel like okay, it might have important. Maybe it might be like okay, you want to apply for a job, they'll ask you how many badges do you have? So I'm just joking though, but you never can tell what is going to, but at least you can, it's like a show off. I have like 15 badges, and at least it's even a motivation for you to even like a reward. Okay, I have badges, I'm growing, I'm going. It's something for you to you'll be able to look back and say, okay, when I started, I didn't have any badge, but now I have like 5. So I just see it as a motivation and all. So I think that will be all from me. If you have any question, you can still ask on the chat section. Prosper is going to answer them. And I think there's a question we're there waiting for Prosper that says, how native is Kotlin? Prosper, if you can answer that, I really want to know the answer to that. I don't write Kotlin. I'm a JavaScript developer. All right, go on, Prosper. Yeah, Prosper.
All right. Yeah. All right. So, okay, let me just go straight to the question. How native is Kotlin? Okay, so to provide some context around that question, I know a lot of people think that, okay, maybe let's say Kotlin compiles to Java and all that. But the truth is that Android at its core was built with Java. So Android runs on, like, let's say a Java virtual machine, and Kotlin is a JVM language. So really, Kotlin, like being a JVM language, it makes it very easy for Kotlin to substitute Java, and that is where the whole idea of Kotlin compatibility with Java comes in. Like they run on the same virtual machine, and so really Kotlin is more like, let's say, an extended version of Java. So let's look at Kotlin as Java. Like Kotlin was built upon the strengths and also to improve on the weaknesses of Java. So Kotlin runs on Java virtual machine, and that is like the main idea, because Java also run on its own virtual machine like JVM. So Kotlin is a JVM language, and really that's what really makes it native to Android, because Android was built with Java and it interprets with Java virtual machine.
It's answered the question. I don't know if it answered the question for Kelvin. Kelvin asked the question, but I believe it should. All right. So without wasting our time, I'll just hand over to Adiola. Just give us the closing remark and let's just move to the next stage of the day. Adiola, are you there?
Fawaz, are you saying something? We can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? What about now?
Yeah. First, I need to say something.
No, just
hello?
continue, Adiola.
Okay. First of all, you. All right. All right. So thank you very much, Prosper. Thank you, followers, as well, and thank you everyone for joining us. So I think we'll end the call now, and you can still forward your questions. Okay. And like I said earlier at the beginning of the session, it is recorded. So should you miss any detail, you could always, pay reference back to the YouTube channel. So thank you everyone once again for joining. We can leave the room now.